Oh, welcome back. We got a figure out. Let's go back to the dressing room. Ah. What do we find? 1, 3. So these are the only... Well, real... Oh. I didn't mean for that to happen. We know that that's there. We know that... These two are not, which means that could be that, which means... the 5's there. Which means that's the 2. That's a 1. This is a 1, which means somewhere in there is the 2. We know this is a 1 and this is a 1, and that there is another 1. Which means that means that could be the 2. That's the 2. That means there's a 1 there, and there's a 1 somewhere there. There's a 1 there. There is a 1 somewhere here, and here. We know that there's a 2 here, which means it's either here or here. We know that there is 1, 2. Because we already got the 2, so that means that. Which means this is probably the 3, and that's the 1. We know that that is a 1, which means there. We know that can't be 1, and that can't be that, which means there's probably a 1 there, which means there's a 1 there, 1 there, and a 1 there. Which means that's the, oh, that's the 2. Which means that is the 1. Okay, I'm an idiot, I should have figured out, but... No? Oh. Well, that's a 1, because there was the 2. Wait. That would be the... Okay, that's the... and that means that. And that's the 2. This is the 5. We know that's the 2. That's the 1. That's a 2. That's there. Okay, we're getting it there. That goes there. We know that's a 1, and that's a 1, and that's a 1. Which means this is the 3. We know that's the 2, and that's the 1. What did we find? Medallion. Okay, 6 and a 4. We know that's 15. There is no 15s or high numbers. So, realistically, if there's a 4 and these are thing, that's not what I was expecting. That's the 4. Which means that is that. And then there's somewhere in here is the 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Which means realistically, that is the... Yeah, I was somewhere in that ballpark. This is a 3, this is a 2, this is a 2. So we know that there's a 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Which means this is a 3. That's a 2. We know that there's another 2 there, then there's potentially a 1, and there's a thing there. We know that there's the 1, 4, and 3. We know that there's 5, so that means that's the that's not the 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bang. 1. Means this is the 2. Because the 5 would be up there, so it's either, yep, that just confirms that goes to a 3. There's the 2. We know that this is a 4. We know this is a 4. We know that is a 4, which means that's the 5. We now know that there's a 2 and a 3, and we know that that's a 2, which means it's that, which means it's that. That is a 1. We know that there goes 1, 2, but we know there's a 4 there, which means that's most likely the 6. We know that's the 3, which means that's the 3. This is the 4. And because this is probably mirroring, so we get down to here, which means it's not mirroring. Okay, so this is the 3. There's a 1 somewhere there. We know that there's probably the 5 is there then. We know that that's a 3. We know that's a 2. We know that's the 1. Wasn't a mirror. PDA. Main hall. Do one more puzzle. Okay. So it's a 10 by 10 grid. We know that there's a 2, we know that that is not showing up, which means this is potentially where the 2 is. Which means that's no, okay, that's the 1, that's the 2. That means the 3 is not there, because that's the 2. That means that's the 1, the 3 somewhere in here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which means that is there, which means that's the 2. 1, 2. So we can't really determine exactly where. We know this is a 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Which means that is the 1, which means that's the 3. That's a 1, and that's a 1, which means this is the 4, that's the 2. This is the 3. We know that this would be the 4, that's a 2 and a 2, which means that's the 2, which means this is the 3. We know that's done. Okay, so we know that this is a 1, which means this is the 2. We know that that's a 2, which means that's a 2. We know this is a 4, which means that's a 1, that's a 2. That's the 3, that's a 2. and all of that. Now we... That's the 2, which means that's the 2. This is the 1. This is the 2. Which means these are the 1s. So the 1s are in somewhere in these 3, which means that's probably... Nope, that's the 1 and that's the 1. Which means 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which means these 2 are in contention. We know that. Which means these are the 1s. We know that these are the 1s. Which means that's the 3, and that's the final 1. Handkerchief. D-rate. Dun dun dun! Okay, save. This is the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys for the next one. Till then, bye bye.